I'd be gone for 24, 48 hours at a time, and my girlfriend didn't really know where I was.
It got pretty bad.
I convinced myself for a long time that it wasn't that bad. And I think things really took a turn when I got introduced to drugs.
What kind?
I was using coke, MDMA, anything that I could really get my hands on. I felt like I was just having a good time. It wasn't until actually Christmas time, 2016, after another bad night, I was...
Luc Zoratto is a marathon running sober coach whose transformation from battling an alcohol struggle to conquering the Boston Marathon now fuels his powerful mission to guide high performers.
I'll be 9 years sober in December. It's been a journey, a lot of struggle. I just realized that I was sort of becoming my dad. That crushed me. He struggled and nobody talked about it. He never got help. He never got to see this version of me.
And what would you tell him?
It's not meant to be easy, but I've never in my 9 years woken up and said,
We find it very interesting that the majority of you who watch and listen to this show aren't yet subscribed to our channels across Spotify, Apple, YouTube. It would mean the world to us if you can do us that small kindness. It allows us to continue to bring on amazing guests week after week and continue to provide you with amazing value and content. It's the only thing we'll ever ask of you. If you can hit that follow or subscribe button, it would mean the world to us. Thank you so much and enjoy the episode. Welcome to Gents Talk.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to have this conversation because you have an interesting journey. And I think what people see online is just a fraction of the journey that you've been on. And I'm wondering if someone, comes across this episode and is meeting you for the first time, who's Luc? Who's the guy sitting in front of me?
That's a good question. Wow. Right off the bat, I love it. I guess the person you're seeing today is probably the most authentic version of myself that I've ever felt. The most present and the most confident in who I am. So that's who you see today. That's how I present myself today, how I feel today. But it's been a journey for sure to get to this point. A lot of struggle. And this is what, excites me to be talking to you and your community and your platform here. It's all about men opening up, being vulnerable and sharing their story. So thanks for having me again.
No, I appreciate you being willing to have this conversation with me. Why don't we start with your story? So for those who don't know you and don't know about your journey with sobriety, and you do a lot of running as well. I just started in the last 6 to 8 months, picked up running, and I'm in love with it.
Yeah.
As much as I hated it, and there are days where I hate it.
Yeah.
But, what's the story here? What happened that led you to even be on a sobriety journey?
Yeah, so it kind of started, so where I am today is 9 years. I'll be 9 years sober in December.
Wow.
Continuous sobriety, which is crazy to even say out loud.
I bet. Yeah.
I guess
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I guess that was never really the goal at the beginning. The goal at the beginning was to just have a better control of my drinking and my using, to be a more responsible drinker and to be able to control and moderate a little bit better. So that's sort of what started the journey, I'll call it. And there's a lot of different phases that I experienced in the journey: loneliness, isolation, feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah. Well, let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
What was happening in your life that led you to go down that rabbit hole?
So I think if I'm going to start there, it's a little bit about my background, sort of how I was raised, just high level. So I'm French Canadian and half French Canadian, half Italian. So both cultures really enjoy socializing, entertaining, drinking and celebrating life. So that was kind of the environment I was raised in. Two loving parents who love to, have a good time. Now, my Italian grandfather, my nonno, used to make homemade wine, took a lot of pride in his homemade wine in the basement. So, my cousins and I, we would drink what we called nonno's Coke, which was half his homemade wine and half ginger ale. So we were drinking no-nose Coke at 7, 8, 9 years old. Just the glass or maybe a few sips here and there.
Yeah.
So alcohol was very available in our house, but it was always in control of my family. And I was like everyone else, really. My friends growing up, drinking on the weekends, and nothing crazy, obviously, but things just accelerated for me pretty quickly, and it just became to a point where it was interfering and it was just complicating my life. And if I were just reflect on, the struggles that I've had in relationships, with myself, at work, the majority of those conflicts were as a result of my drinking. Was it
because you started drinking at such a young age that it just became a lot more part of your life? Or was there something, like, was there a catalyst that happened, a moment that, made you turn to alcohol even more, like become dependent on it?
Yeah. I don't think it's because I started at a young age. If anything, it sort of made it less of a big deal. So if there were events or gatherings or parties when I was younger, it wasn't like, wow, alcohol is available here. I've never seen this and I need to really enjoy it. Like, it was kind of like, it was no big deal, right? Because it was around me for so long. So I wouldn't say that my earlier teens, it was really a problem. It was more, weekends and, events or whatever, like a lot of kids who are finding themselves, right? But I found that when things kind of accelerated for me was in university, where I've just found that I had a low self-esteem, a low confidence. And I found that when I drank, I had a lot more confidence. So I enjoyed that feeling, right? And as I, finished school, started working full time, I found myself drinking all the time at social events. Like I wouldn't want to go anywhere where there wasn't alcohol socially. Or if there was, I was just really more reserved, more quiet, and just I didn't feel like that bubbly, confident person that I wanted to be. And that continued for a long time. And then I think things really took a turn when I got introduced to drugs. That's when things, I think, accelerated pretty quickly, and just things got a lot more difficult to manage.
If I was a fly on the wall when all of this was happening, what would I have seen?
It would face at university, sort of using and stuff like that, or more just
in general, like when you were, when you say that things accelerated, can you give me a little more info on what that looked like, what was happening?
Yeah. So, I mean, I convinced myself for a long time that it wasn't that bad. I was never a daily drinker. I wasn't drinking alone, but I was very much a social drinker, somebody who, loved to have fun. And once I started, it was just really difficult for me to slow down and stop. So what you'd see somebody who struggled with a bit of self-confidence, somebody who took care of himself. I was in the gym a lot during my struggles. When I started working full time, I was, making good money, had a good job. So from the outside, so I was doing real estate. Okay. I was doing corporate tech sales.
So a lot of face-to-face interactions.
A lot of customer interactions, social interactions. And I think what you'd see from the outside is just somebody who likes to have fun, very upbeat, a fun person to be around. So they didn't really see too much of the call it behind the scenes struggle that was more prevalent in relationships. And behind closed doors in the mornings, the next day, that type of thing. So a lot of my friends had no idea to the extent on how much it was eating me up and just how much it was interfering with my life.
What was the most destructive thing that happened to you as a result of the alcohol and drug use?
It wasn't necessarily one event that just kind of blew up and it was call it a quote unquote rock bottom story. I have a lot of respect for people who've truly been through a lot and shown resilience and bounced back and been able to figure things out. The truth is, the more I heard those stories, the more triggering it was for me in the sense that I'm not that person. I don't relate to that rock bottom story. So I would hear these people talking about their stories and their journey, and it would make me feel like I wasn't actually that bad because I kept the job, because I was in shape, because I had a lot of friends.
There were parts of your life that still seemed
like they were doing just fine. So that was actually hard for me. Was that I would look at myself in the mirror and be like, and I convinced myself, look, yeah, things need to change. Maybe you don't want to feel like this, but it's not that bad. You're working hard. You're working multiple different jobs. You're making good money. You have your own place. It's not that bad. Like that's kind of the work hard, play hard mentality. You deserve it. So that was my biggest struggle.
So at the point in your life when you were drinking the most, how much were you drinking? So
I would drink probably 3 or 4 days a week. If it was Saturday, Sunday, that's when, I could probably drink, quite a bit. I could go 48 hours with drinking and using.
Really?
Not sleeping and being not home for 48 hours, bouncing around from different places to not really coming home until Sunday night, where, angst, anxiety would be through the roof, and I'd just kind of get ready for Monday. So that was kind of at the worst, where I'd be gone for 24, 48 hours at a time, and my girlfriend didn't really know where I was. My phone I wouldn't be communicating with anybody, and I'd just be gone.
What would you say to your girlfriend? Is it the same person that you're still with?
Yep. So and we're married 2016, so that's what 7 years.
So she was there.
9 years.
She was there when.
Oh yeah. We met in 2011. Started dating in 2011, and I got sober in 2016. So 5 years of our relationship was a lot of up and down. And near the end, it was more down than it was got pretty bad.
Can I ask what happened there? That when you say it got pretty bad?
Yeah, it was just, I was just not in a good place mentally, and that was coming out in a lot of different ways. I struggled a lot, and I would do things that I would regret, and a lot of shame, and I would it's almost like I had two lives. Like nobody really knew what I was up to, my girlfriend included. I would keep her separate from that. I'd lie a lot. I was a good liar.
Why?
Because I didn't want to know the truth. That I was this spiral. I was spiraling. I wasn't in a good place, and I was, letting her down big time, and myself down, more importantly.
Why do you think she stayed?
That's a good question. You have to ask her that.
Have you ever asked?
I don't know if I've asked directly like that, but what, I don't know. Maybe she saw something in me that maybe I didn't see at the time. We had we had a lot of good times together. We traveled a lot. We had a lot of good times. I'd say this is probably the one area that really tempered our relationship, like our fighting, our, all the bad things were centered around that. Everything else was really good. But it was just the inconsistency, I think, that hurt us the most.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was an every single weekend thing. But when it would start, it'd be hard to stop. It'd be hard to control it.
When you would disappear, let's say for that 48-hour window, and you'd come back on Sunday night, what was going through your mind there?
I was just trying to get it together, because I knew that it was time to get into work, get back home, and just kind of change gears and to push through to make it not look like it was as bad as it was.
Was there, when you say that it also started to manifest itself in your work and in your other relationships, how was that affecting those parts of your life?
So that's kind of that's the scary part, is that an outsider looking in wouldn't really see the impact, because I was still able to kind of get it together.
Is that what you would call a functioning alcoholic?
See, I struggle with that term.
How come?
I don't identify as an alcoholic.
Okay.
Not that I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Sure.
I just don't identify with it. And the biggest reason for that is because I could go weeks without drinking. And for me, that's not an alcoholic. I wasn't dependent on alcohol. But when I would have a drink, and it's not like every time, but I have that, that beast inside of me that when he's activated, I just don't know what version's coming out. And it's not every time. It's maybe 2 out of 10 times that, it gets bad. So
what do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
No, what? Like, what do you think?
What do I think that is?
When you describe this beast that's inside you, that you don't know what version you're going to get.
Yeah.
What do you think that is inside you that's just sitting there waiting?
It's just, it's just the thing that kind of makes it difficult to control is that beast just wants to have a really good time. If I'm enjoying drinks with friends, why not go a 10 out of 10 and make it the best night possible?
Yeah. Right?
It's kind of that all or nothing. So if I'm going to drink and I'm going to have fun, like let's have fun. Let's go all in. Let's make it the best night we can possibly make it. And let's not, let's avoid let's delay the next day as long as possible. Let's avoid the come down, the reality of what's around the corner. Let's avoid it. So let's continue pushing.
Is the all-in approach something that applies to all facets of your life? Or was it strictly a party thing?
That all or nothing was definitely an area of my life that was obvious, that I started realizing about myself.
Like you were just prone to whatever it is you did.
Whatever it is I do, I give it my 100%.
Yeah, which is not a bad thing.
I guess it's not, but sometimes if it's fueled in the wrong way, it's a bad thing. Yeah. But if it's fueled in a more positive way, like an outlet, like exercise,
it could be wonderful.
It could be a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so you're going through this journey. You're going, when you're partying hard. You were drinking too much, and then you said you started using drugs.
Yep.
Can you share what kind?
Yeah, I was using coke. I was using MDMA, K, X, anything that I could really get my hands on. But I didn't dabble into the needles or anything like that. Yeah. That stuff scared me. That's why I thought the coke was like a social drug. Like it was.
That's what those are.
Yeah, exactly. So I felt like I was just having a good time.
What do you think that need of yours was to feel better than you were? So what was it about your life when you weren't drinking or on drugs that did not make you feel great?
Yeah. I think it was just, I wanted to, there was a part of me that, maybe felt I wasn't enough, like I wasn't good enough, that I had to prove myself all the time.
Have you ever reflected on why?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure that part of it has to do with just, I had a great upbringing. It's not like the childhood was any real red flags there, but I think it's just, honestly, the way I look at it, it's kind of like it's in my blood, that feeling of wanting to lean on something to make you feel better when you're having either a bad day or a really good day and you want to make it even more fun. I really feel that it's kind of genetics, runs in my family. My dad struggled, a lot of people in my family struggled. So I just think it's something that I'm born with.
In what way? Like with drinking as well?
Yeah, with drinking, yeah.
So you were surrounded by it essentially.
I was, and it was never made to be a big deal because, people
you don't talk about it.
That's for sure. Yeah. And my dad, Italian, he struggled a lot, and my mom and dad fought a lot as a kid. When I was a kid, they would fight a lot, and that crushed me. Like it just was really difficult to go through, and I just realized that I was sort of becoming my dad. Like I was a great guy 9 out of the 10 times, 90% of the time, but then there's that 10% that, you know, when I start drinking or using, I'm just become a different person, and I'm just, you know, not operating with the level of integrity that I want to have for myself, and just the life that I just don't want to have. So I quickly I was realizing that I was, you know, becoming like my dad, and I had a lot of respect for my dad. He was an amazing dad, and like I'm not talking bad about him, but he struggled and nobody talked about it.
There's nothing wrong with struggling.
No, there's nothing wrong with struggling, but as a family, we never talked about it.
Yeah.
And he never got help, you know. So.
Do you ever try having that conversation with him?
He passed in 2014, and I got sober in 2016. So he got to see this version of me, right? So, but I try to honor him in that sense. It keeps me motivated.
Before we jump into the journey in sobriety, the version of you that's sitting in front of me here today, if you had an opportunity to tell your dad something about this experience, this journey that you're on, what would you tell him? I would tell him that I figured it out and I was able to do something for the both of us. That I've created this really great life that I'm proud of, and that I'm just enough as I am, and I'm not trying to do anything else to prove anything to anybody else. Yeah. So what was the moment or the catalyst? You said you didn't necessarily have a rock bottom moment like some other people do when they talk about their stories.
Yeah.
But what was it that finally made you go, I can't live like this anymore. I need to change?
It was a buildup of a lot of tough mornings and a lot of struggle, mentally, emotionally, just really in a dark place. And I wouldn't get to that place until after like a bender, right? Being up for a certain amount of time and just trying to piece things together. It was just really tiring, and I knew that something had to change. So I was open to change. And that's when I started going to therapy and trying to moderate my drinking, to be in better control. And I did that for a few years, where I was, you know, intentional. I was working on it. I had a therapist. We would talk about my drinking, but then there would be episodes that would happen and come up, and I would just be back in that cycle where I took it too far. I didn't stop. I was up. I did things I shouldn't have done, and now it's like, okay, here I am again. You know, months later, years later, it's what's happening? What am I doing? So that happened, that went on for a while. And then it wasn't until actually Christmas time, 2016, after another bad night, where I just woke up with a lot of anxiety. And I just said to myself, you know what? I want to do something different this time. And I want to talk to somebody, not my therapist, someone else. So I went on Google that day and I just Googled therapist in Toronto. And I found someone, you know, the same day, where I was very vulnerable and just not in a good place. And it was like a blessing that I was able to see this person, because the timing of the holidays, and I saw him a few hours later, and I sat down and I just kind of just shared my story in 10, 15 minutes, what I've been going through. And he looked at me in the eyes and was like, Luc, you can not be drinking. You can never be drinking again. And I was like, whoa, like what? First of all, I never heard that. And secondly, I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. There's no way. So I was debating him. And I was debating him as all the reasons why that's not possible. And French Canadian, Italian, my identity, my friends. There's no way my work no. Just
all the excuses.
All the excuses reasons. Why I can't.
No.
And then after that session, I went back to my car, and I just couldn't stop crying because I knew that what he was saying, there was something there that I think I owed myself to explore, because I had screwed up so many times, but like just enough to not be like, where I was in the hospital, where I was arrested, where I was fired, or where I lost things. It was very fine line, and I just knew that it wasn't sustainable, the lifestyle that I was on. That was the biggest thing. And like I said, it was just a buildup of years of this struggle that I wanted to try something different. And I was open to it, I guess, at that point. And that's when I went back to him and I said, okay, I'm open to stopping or taking a break. And that's when he put me into group therapy.
Right.
So after that conversation, I knew that there was something there, that I was just tired of that cycle of just trying to stop and just it getting the best of me, really. So I was open to taking a break, or the thought of never drinking again was too scary for me, but I was open to trying something. And he put me into group therapy. He put me into CAMH, Center of Addiction Mental Health, right here on Queen Street.
Yep.
So I went there during my lunch break, driving my sports car, got my blazer on, and show up and in a room where I was just a little bit shocked at what was in the room. Just the kind of people, like I felt like, I'll tell you a story actually. Within the first little bit of the meeting, the counselor or the lead was saying, we'll go around and share kind of a best practice, something that you're doing that's working for you. One area that's working for you. And I think I was the first one to share. I was kind of on the last one on the corner. And I said that I had just downloaded this app, and it was able to keep track of my days and hours without drinking. So at that time, I think I had just under a week, and I was talking about this app, and I liked looking at that. It made me feel good. And people in the room looked at me, and I could just see their faces. And it was basically like, you have a phone? Like you have a phone, right? So picture this room, because it wasn't just alcohol, it was drugs. And actually it was probably more drugs than anything. And so just people in this room were closer to that rock bottom version story that I was. But that was such a wake up call for me.
I bet.
Such a wake up call where I was like, Luke, don't fool yourself. This is the path you're headed on.
Yeah.
And I went to one group session, and then after that, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna not drink for whatever it is, a certain amount of time," and that's what I did, and that's what I'm doing, and that's when the journey of sobriety started. Was early 2017.
Wow.
And
what a wake-up call.
It was like seeing that therapist at that time, and just having that real talk to me in my eyes, like if he was talking to my soul. He was looking at me saying, Luke, you can never drink again. It was like I had never had anybody talk to me relative, even close to that. Not my girlfriend, not my parents, not my good friends. When they saw me struggling, they would never say words like that.
There's going to be people listening and watching this who are on their own journey. Some of whom are at rock bottom, near rock bottom, are struggling with alcohol and drugs, and so desperate to get sober and start their sobriety journey, but they're struggling. It's not working.
Yeah.
Is there anything that worked for you that you can maybe share advice-wise that could help people? Well,
I'll tell you maybe what didn't work for me.
Okay.
And maybe that could be a an example of maybe what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
So after I decided I was going to give this a shot, I completely disconnected from any sort of version of support system, therapist. Nobody knew the journey I was on other than my girlfriend and close friends and family, that I wasn't drinking. Nobody knew. So I would lie a lot. I would avoid the conversation a lot. When people would ask me, why aren't you drinking? I would make up an excuse.
But also back then, like only 8-9 years ago, drinking was like, if you didn't drink, it's like, oh, why?
Yeah. Even now you still get it that a little
Do
bit.
you?
But it's changed a lot, I'd say. But I did it all on my own. You know, I was what I call in the sober closet. Like, no one knew I was sober. I would never say those words. I was just ashamed that I was sober, that I wasn't drinking. Like, I felt shame. Like, there's something wrong with you, Luke. You can't drink like a normal person and just kind of keep it together. You go too far, and that's not cool. So I did actually 5 years of my journey all on my own, and isolation in the sense that I didn't feel connected to anything other than, you know, my girlfriend who was supporting me, but it was very difficult. I was what you call like white knuckling it. Like, I was just figuring it out on my own. So that's kind of what not to do, because there's really two versions of my story. There's the first 5 years that was just really hard, where I would avoid a lot of situations, either not go and leave really early, make excuses, that kind of thing. And then the second version, which is when I just leaned into it and started being proud of what I had been going through and what I had accomplished or persevered through, that I started making more friends, you know, created this Instagram account, and leaned into the journey and started being proud of myself. That things changed. So, and that's been just over 3 years of this second version or chapter of my journey, and I'll tell you, it's been so much better on like the way I'm doing it now than when I was kind of in shame and embarrassed to talk about my journey.
Because it really makes you feel like you're not alone in that journey.
Big time.
It's you know, it's even just thinking about this podcast, for example, and when I first started sharing that, like, hey, I've gone through a divorce, life has been really shitty during the pandemic for me, and all these challenges along the way, and then suddenly all these other people were like, oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I've had a similar experience. And then you're like, oh, I'm not alone.
That's right.
There are other people that felt the same way, are going through something, and might be going through something tomorrow. And the simple act of sharing your story can be the catalyst to helping someone else in their journey.
That's right. I couldn't agree more with that.
The social media side of things, you know, like social media in general can be very, very, very bad and ugly. And it can be used as a really incredibly powerful tool for good. And you've been using your platform, and you've built an audience around your journey of sobriety, marathon running. What has been the feedback like? What kind of, you know, you post the content, you post the videos, the photos, and I'm sure you get private messages from folks reaching out. What's some of that been like for you?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, the first time that I shared any aspect of my journey was I actually taking a step back. I was ready when I hit my 5-year anniversary. I was ready to share my story. Like, I felt, because I was in such private journey, I was ready to like let people in on what I was doing. And the biggest thing was people at work. I work for a huge global company. No one in my office knew what I was really up to, right? So I wanted to let people know, and I did it on LinkedIn. I did a LinkedIn post, a public LinkedIn post, that I was 5 years sober. I had just qualified for the Boston Marathon. I got a picture of my daughter on my lap, and I was like, hey, this is what I've been up to for 5 years. And the response from that was overwhelming. That thing had, 3 million views in 48 hours on LinkedIn. And I was just getting so many messages from people I knew, old teachers, old friends, people I haven't heard of in 20 years, people I didn't know. And that's what was like, wow, I could not believe the response, in the sense that there was something here. People can relate, either themselves, a family member, a close friend that's been through something. And that's when I knew that there was something there. And that's when I was like, okay, what do I do now? And that's when I had been invited to all these podcasts, and I had never done a podcast. I thought about doing any of that. And I was like, okay, well, what do I do? All my social media was private at the time. And so that's when I created this account, and I started just documenting a bit of my journey and trying to bring, the joy in the journey. Because when you hear the word sobriety, not drinking, automatically you think, what's wrong with you? What did you do? I can't trust you. And it's a sad, depressing life. But at that time, I was 5 years sober. I had been through some stuff, and I was ready to show that it's actually a really great thing. There's no shame. It's joy, and it's connection, and it's just a lot of fun, if anything. Yeah. So I started documenting and sharing my story, and slowly but surely I would get messages every day. Hey, your videos really helped me. Hey, and I noticed they wouldn't follow me. It'd be people who don't follow me who are messaging me. Hey, I watch your videos. Hey, thank you. Keep them, and more. And then the responses just continue. Even to this day, my inbox, I get at least 10, 15 messages every single day from people who are saying, thank you for your videos. Thank you. Because I know, and it's not about the numbers, right? It's not like I did this to like blow up on Instagram. I did this because I know what it's like. I've been on the journey, how isolating it can feel. And to just have, to share my story, which is, one, you don't need to hit rock bottom to make a change.
Agreed.
Because a lot of the times I would hear people sharing their story. And again, I have a lot of credit, but I didn't relate to that. And that actually made me feel like I should continue because it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, when I had that identity shift, I became proud of my journey. I became proud of being a sober dad. I got into marathon running, which I hated, right? All these
we all
things,
do when you
right?
start it, yeah.
But it's like I started becoming proud of that journey.
Yeah.
And everything changed. So it made me inspired to continue sharing, so that maybe somebody sees, hears or sees something, and maybe it gets them to think a little bit differently about their relationship with alcohol. And it's not a bad thing to take a break. It's actually probably a really healthy thing to do. So that inspired me to just like keep sharing my story, and it's brought me so much fulfillment. I feel so fulfilled. Like I feel like I know that I'm making a difference in people's lives, and there's like you can relate to this. It's a really great feeling. You know?
No, absolutely. I mean, just the ability to be in the service of someone else, where the thing that you're doing helps someone become better in their own life, in their own way. And sometimes you never receive any confirmation that has happened, but know when that does, and you've helped someone, it's such a good feeling. It's hard to describe it. It's like, I just did something for someone, and they're improving their lives because of it. It's a huge thing. And it's why we encourage more men to have these conversations, because, there's tons of men out there that are struggling right now with alcohol, with substances, in their relationships, with their families, with themselves, with their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health, and their jobs. Yeah. Coming out of the pandemic, it's exacerbated all of that, right? Like all of us were in isolation and lockdown to some degree. And we had to kind of look in the mirror and realize, wow, I'm very unhappy with these areas of my life. Mm-hmm. And coming out of that, we've kind of opened up Pandora's box, and we can't just close that lid right back up, but we're walking around like everything is normal again. Mm-hmm. And so we need to encourage more people to have these conversations. Yep. To open up. And that's why I'm very appreciative of you sharing your story in this capacity, not just here with me, but on your socials and in your daily journey. And it takes courage. It's hard. Yeah. It's not easy.
It's not easy. But the truth is that it actually helps me too. As much as we love paying it forward and being of active service, it's actually helped me a lot. It's really kept me accountable. It's given me that like purpose, that sense of bigger than me type things, and it feels really good. And I've really leaned into it, and I'm really enjoying the people that I'm meeting in person. probably right now, one of my greatest joys is the Sober Strider Run Club that I created.
Tell me about that.
It's a run club in Toronto. We meet, and also virtually. We have members all over the U.S. and Europe too, who like connecting with the fact that maybe not everyone in the club is quote unquote sober, but maybe they're drinking less. Maybe they're working on more balance, or just revisiting their relationship with alcohol, and in a community where there's a lot of movement and action and connecting with other people, where alcohol is not the focal point of the end of the race or the end of the event, where there's socials, where alcohol is very prevalent, as we know, but it's just a nice, safe place to come and connect and meet really exciting, cool people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's been a significant shift in the way people think about health and wellness overall. Moving their bodies, what they eat, what they put into their bodies, the way they sleep, the way they think about nutrition and health and wellness overall. It's not a trend, it's a movement. People are making conscious decisions in that capacity. It's why you saw run clubs pop up all over the city over the last year, but also it's not just the running component.
Right.
It's the community building
that's right
around it. It's the ability to find connection in a world where we're so polarized and constantly online. We're overwhelmed. Our sensories are overwhelmed by how much we're fed from every angle, that sometimes just having connection with another human being is all we're craving.
That's right. Exactly.
So this journey that you're on now, anyone who hears this part of the story goes, wow, like you really turned your life around. Got married, you have a kid. What's the journey of fatherhood been like for you?
The best thing that's ever happened to me, honestly. It's been such a joy, and that was actually also another huge motivator for me at the beginning, was that I wanted to not put my kid through what I had been through, which was a parent who was just inconsistent.
Right.
I didn't know what version of him would come home from work. So it kept me up at night actually a lot. So being a father, present, I got sober before Luna was born. She'll be 6 next month. It's the best feeling. I don't pretend, don't let my social media fool you. I have a lot of things I'm working on. Like, I'm not a perfect dad. I'm not a perfect husband, but I'm not trying to be a perfect husband or dad, but I'm the best version of me and I feel like I feel really good, a relationship and just being there as much as I can, being present. It feels really, really good.
Yeah. And then the running itself. So that's a big part of your social media presence. What has running done for you? Because from my own perspective, running over the last few months, so I've always despised running. And I was always the one that said, I hate running. I never want to do it. I don't understand it. And as I started to do it, I don't know if this is what people talk about when they describe runner's high, but I find it singularly focuses my brain on either a topic or just calms me down, especially on longer runs. And I've encouraged friends, my wife, family to start taking up more exercising, jogging, running, walking, it doesn't matter, but just movement in general. Why has that played such a big role in your story?
Oh gosh, that was like, that helped me tremendously. It gave me an outlet, and it gave me this sense of, routine as well. And it was like, I'm going to bed early, and I'm not staying out late because I'm doing this thing. I have this goal, qualifying for these races. And it really kept me motivated and on track. And it helped me a lot. And it's kind of like that all or nothing, right? That we talked about earlier.
Right.
So I went all in on my running, got a running coach, started running, 6-7 days a week, 130, 140 kilometers a week. I got fast. And I was running 5 years, very consistently. And up until recently, I started actually burning out. So that all or nothing actually started to it became less fun.
Interesting.
The running I was shifting from I get to run, I get to be a runner, this is great, to I have to run. I have to run today. I got to do 30K today. I got to deal with Luna Sports. I got to do this. I got to work. And then I have to go run tonight. I have to go run. And it became less fun because of the burnout. And this was in November. I ran my last marathon, which was New York City. And after that, it's coming on, I don't know, what is that, 9-10 months? I've taken a huge backseat with my running. And if anything, I'm actually feeling really good about that, because it's kind of showing to myself that I'm able to to be more happy with me. I'm not, again, trying to prove, hey, look at Luke, he's a fast runner now.
Right.
He's a sober guy, so now he runs 2 hours and 50-minute marathons, an hour and 17-minute half marathons. That's what he does now. But it's like, that's not who my identity. That's something that I'm so proud of now, is that I've shifted past that, because I went from not drinking to sober marathoner, and that's my identity. Now I'm this runner, and that's what I do. But now it's like I'm in another phase where it's like, I'm not actually trying to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
I still run, 3-4 days a week on my own when I kind of feel like it.
Right.
And it feels really good. It doesn't mean I'm not going to get back to marathon running or pushing myself to goals, but right now I feel at peace. And I've been on the journey now 9 years, so I've had a lot of finding myself, the struggle, things that worked well, but now I'm at a different phase. And now the phase that I'm at now, it's more the community aspect, right? So the run club. And we're not a run club that's trying to qualify for races. We're the run club who just wants to be inclusive and let people feel safe.
Yeah.
And that brings me joy. So creating events, that's where I'm putting my energy, right?
Yeah.
Into the more of the community. And that's helping me feel, again, fulfilled and connected, and it's working. Yeah. So there's a lot of phases to it.
Is there a part of this 9-year journey that you've been on with your sobriety that... at what point in this journey did you finally go, okay, this is sustainable? What was that moment where you're like, okay, yeah, this one's a long one. This one is going to stick.
Yeah. An honest answer to that wasn't until I came out and shared my story and felt proud of myself, that I felt that it'd stick.
Yeah.
But that's a long time to go in that middle ground, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason what prompted me to share is that nobody needs to go, months, years to make a shift. You can do that right away. Be proud of yourself, connect with other people, share a bit of your story. Doesn't need to be an online thing, just with your friends. Just being real and telling you, hey, this thing is actually, it makes me sick. I actually don't like it. Right. And that's okay. It's okay. We don't need to try to fit in all the time. I really tried to fit in a lot with my drinking and using. It made me feel like I was the fun guy, the life of the party, the cool guy. I wanted to be the cool guy. I wanted people to like me. I was always trying. But now it's I go to events, I go to things, and it's I'm not trying to be the cool guy. I'm not trying to make everybody laugh.
Trying to be you.
I just try to be me.
Yeah.
If I have a couple side conversations with new people, I say hi, and I feel I'm actually in a conversation, and I'm remembering, and I'm actually paying attention, not versus I can't wait to talk and and to just jump, right? So it's just I feel at peace is what it is.
There's
truly.
a freedom in this.
So much freedom.
It's almost like you just don't care anymore.
It's right.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the day, I drank to feel confident. If I just simplify it, okay, yeah, I'm sure there's a bit more there, but I liked feeling more outgoing. That's what I like. I was a social drinker. I never drank alone, right? So I wanted to be more confident. I wanted people to want to be around me, right? But the craziest thing is that I found that confidence in me by not drinking. It's the complete opposite.
It's funny how that works.
It's crazy how that works. And it's I like the version that I am.
Yeah.
I like it. I like me. I'm proud of me. I look at myself, I look at myself in the mirror, and I like what I see. And that gives me all the reason to to not drink today. You know what I mean? To not use today. I still don't say I'm never going to drink again. It's like, it scares me. It sounds, I don't like the way that sounds for me. Some people love saying that. A lot of people I know, I work with, they're like, yeah, I'm never drinking again. And I know that, and I like saying that out loud. But for me, it's like, I don't like saying that. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But for right now, for today, I feel good, and I'm not drinking today. And it feels great.
Is there moments where you feel like you might start drinking again because of a stressful day or whatnot? And
there's definitely moments where, where I'm not feeling strong.
What do you do in those moments to, like, if that's the line, I need to walk myself back a little bit? Yeah,
that's, I think I stay close to like why I'm doing this.
You have a strong why.
I have a very strong why.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, I try to think of like the risk reward, right? What's the benefit of me having a drink tonight? Okay, maybe I'll, I don't know, be more loose or whatever.
Right.
But what's the risk?
Yeah.
And it's just not worth it. Look at my daughter, I look at my marriage, I look at, how I feel. It's not worth it.
That's the price that you would pay for that momentary.
And I know that if I were to keep the door open, and by that I mean drink, like give myself a pass to like drink at special occasions. I don't know, Christmas, anniversaries, birthdays. If I kept the door open just a little bit, that it would eventually bite me again. There's no doubt. Because I had the door open when I was trying to moderate. It's like I'm only going to drink,
and that didn't work.
And it just didn't work. Yeah. And I know myself. I know for me it's not good.
Yeah.
For my wife drinks, my brother drinks, my mom loves her Chardonnay, loves to drink. But for me, it's not for me anymore.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I want my wife to drink. I have no issue. She does not a daily. She hardly ever drinks, but she'll have a drink or two.
Sure, yeah.
And I want her to enjoy it, but she doesn't have that that beast, that gear that I have. That's just gonna like push her too far. She'll have half a glass of wine and leave the wine. Like when I was drinking, I would always finish my drink. Always. Are you kidding me? Like, okay, I got this much left and I gotta go. All right, well, I guess I'm slamming that beer. I'm not gonna waste it. But it's just, for me, it's a good path.
Yeah. What an incredible journey you're on, my friend.
Yeah, it's been.
It is a journey.
It's been hard, but it's been worth it.
I bet.
It's like, that's what I say all the time. It's like, it's not meant to be easy. It's not meant to be easy, but that's what makes it so special.
Yeah.
If it was easy, if anybody could do it, it wouldn't make it what it is.
Yep.
It's special because it's hard.
Yeah.
And, there are breaking points. There are tipping points. There are so many different like aspects of the journey that happen. But I've never in my 9 years woken up and said, I wish I drank last night. I wish I had a couple beers last night. Like, I never said that. I can't tell you how many times I woke up and said, God, I need to stop drinking. Holy shit. This is the last time I'm going to feel like that. Probably said that 1,000 times. Isn't that crazy? So It's like, for me, I've been through it for me, and I just know the answer for me.
Yeah. Luc, I commend you on this journey you're on, my friend. This is, it's a never-ending journey that you're going to be on. And it's something that you carry with you daily, but you're doing incredible. If no one's told you this recently, I'll tell you, you're doing incredible. And I'm inspired just listening to you talk about it, because it doesn't always necessarily have to be alcohol or drugs. There could be another area in someone's life that they're struggling with, and they hear this story and they go, okay, maybe I can take action to improve this area of my life, to change this. Maybe they're in a bad relationship or whatever the case may be. They're struggling with weight, you name it. And they're like, no, today I'm going to do something about it.
Yeah.
And hearing this journey is part of that. And so I commend you on that. And I encourage you to keep posting and sharing. And I don't care if the algorithms change up on you, do it
Yeah.
anyway, because someone out there will benefit from this.
Yeah, it's fun. It's been a lot of fun, and I plan to continue, connecting with other people. And if I can make an impact with one person, I'll continue doing it.
What's something you're not doing right now that you want to be doing?
In what sense?
In general, whether it comes to your sobriety, the running, like you mentioned, the run club. Are you still in real estate? Like
Yeah, I'm still in real estate.
What kind of real estate?
Residential.
Okay.
Like I have a coaching business that I'm doing, life coaching, sober coaching, my content as well.
Yeah.
I like to, I think one aspect that I'd like to do more is I'd like to do more opportunities to do in-person events.
Yeah.
More in person.
I'm a big believer in in-person events.
So I think I'd like to, do scary things. I think that's where we learn about ourselves and grow. And I want to, do some in-person events, retreats, opportunities for people to meet and connect and to do, there's so many different aspects of that I'd like to explore. More events and opportunities for people to meet face to face.
Yeah.
That's what I want to push myself to do more.
I think you should. I think you definitely should. Luke, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for sharing your story with me.
Thank you for having me and giving men really a platform to share their story. Because like we touched on, it's tough, right? It's not easy, but to hear people coming on, sharing a little bit, people feel less alone.
Yeah.
And that's such a good place to be. So you as well, keep bringing people on, keep people sharing their stories, because there's so much power in the story. So
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll do this again, I'm sure.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Thank you so much, everybody.